So today we're sitting down with Captain Jason Halverson. We're going to have a little discussion with you about the ARMS platform. So thanks for taking time to have a chat with us today, Jason.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
So with the platform, kind of give us your background and an idea of why you wanted to and how you got involved with working with us from the very beginning with the ARMS platform.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I'm happy to talk about it. It's a program that we were really excited to implement on board. We did it right before we left for a major trip through some areas that not a lot of yachts went to. And so for us, it was a really natural fit for a boat, an expedition yacht that's going to be doing some faraway trips. It was a really natural fit for me, and so we've been excited to use it. It's really integrated well into not only the bridge but into the day-to-day activity of the crew, yeah, we're really excited to talk about it.
So since you've seen kind of the evolution of this platform from day one to now, tell us a little bit about what really attracted you to the platform when you first saw it, and how has that evolved over the past couple of years, and you just being able to use the platform, whether you're underway or shoreside planning or that?
Certainly, great question. The thing that initially drew me to it is that in my background, I've worked in towing and salvage. I've been on a boat that had an onboard fire, so I've dealt with some of those emergency situations before. And the thing that really drew me to the ARMS platform, above and beyond some of the other features, was the SOS button, the 24-hour response, knowing that if I'm in a remote location, wherever I am in the world, I have a lot of equipment on board that's got red buttons and bells and whistles that, sure, they're alerting somebody. But it was really nice, it was really comforting to know that I had a specific piece of equipment on board that if I had an emergency, it was going to your call center. I got the response from somebody that knew me, knew my boat, knew my protocols on boat, and how to handle that. And so everything else was a cool selling point, but to me, the safety at sea and having that direct line, God forbid there was an emergency, and luckily I've never had to use that yet, was really the biggest selling point for me.
Well, we've joked about that, like, hey, I'm going to push the button, but that's one of the things that we look at. It's not just the information, that you see in the platform. It's the ability to pick up the phone at any time and be able to call someone. So that was kind of the beginning point. Now, as you look back on 2 years, and you've been able to use a lot of the different features and functions, you've seen the data, information, intelligence that's in the platform. How has your opinion of the platform changed?
Yeah, well, I think even the first few months I had it, it was still just sort of this thing that was in the background in case of emergency. And as the trip went on and the platform started to grow and more alerts started to go in, I actually specifically remember we were cruising in the Pacific off of Peru. And sometime in the middle of the night, the crew did exactly what they were told. If an alert comes up on this piece of equipment, I need to be made aware. Got a knock on the door. In that case, in our bubble, we call it, our sort of area of concern, there was a piracy attack. And this was a real alert that was really happening within 100 miles of me. I was able to come up to the bridge, get the information that I needed without all the extra information. In that particular case, I plotted it. My course was still going to keep me 60 or 70 miles from this known piracy attack. I went back to bed. Had that not had the system on board, I may have never known about that. And so for me, that was the first time I went, wow, this is more than just a little red button in the corner. It's giving me real-time data that is important to me. This wasn't, there's a tsunami 5,000 miles away that's not going to affect me.
Sure.
This is giving me information that is real-time to not only my geographic location, but my specific vessel as well. And that was a really kind of a fun moment. I actually remember calling you the next day and saying, hey, I got that alert last night. And I was excited because it really started to show how much more the platform can do for you.
Sure. Well, speaking of that, so we're recording this video right now in the middle part of March of 2020. So we're in the middle of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 outbreak. That's one of the things that's kept us busy with the platform, is tracking the virus in the platform, along with all the delays, closures, quarantines, all the things that are affecting the maritime industry. Plus plus all of the normal day-to-day stuff that we track with the platform. So from a planning standpoint and an underway standpoint, how do you use the platform when you look at a trip or going somewhere now?
Yeah, and you know, we are at a very interesting time in the last few weeks, and probably for the foreseeable future here. And I think this would be a perfect example if I had a trip planned next week to go to, say, the Bahamas. We're here in Fort Lauderdale now. I can very quickly know, are there outbreaks in the Bahamas? Are there the other pieces of the outbreak? That's pretty easy to kind of find. It's sort of on the news. It's the hot topic right now. But what's not in the news is what restrictions are there when I get to the Bahamas? Are there port delays when I get to the Bahamas? Are there certain nationalities that maybe aren't allowed into?
Right.
So it's giving me a ton of great information in one location. As a captain, some of my crew don't always understand this, but my day-to-day can be extremely busy with information. There's constantly information that whether that is dealing with crew, dealing with owners, dealing with governments, dealing with a boat. And so with this platform, it takes a lot of the information that's coming into my bridge, centralizes it, gives me one location to go to. And so before a trip, in the planning stages, it gives me a lot of great little things that I might have to spend hours to find. Well, you guys have done that for me. So there it is. It's right there. So that's sort of in the pre and post planning. During a voyage, I think, like the example of the piracy attack, or there was also a tsunami alert that came in through the platform at one point. So that's where sort of during my trips, I find that it's useful. And then there's always the piece of the SOS and that having that shoreside support, that's always in the back of my mind as well, especially underway.
Sure. So with all of that, would you recommend this to other yacht captains that you know and other people in the industry that you work with?
Not only would I, but I have. I really think when we first got it, we started integrating it. The first few times I was talking to people, I thought, you know, that guy's a good candidate because his boat is going far away. And in my mind, that was kind of who the target audience for this was. I think now that the product has evolved to what it is now, and especially with some of the add-on pieces, I think it's invaluable for any captain. Again, just using the Bahamas as an example, we will call that our milk run. We've all done it, but right now we're in such a changing world that having information sets you apart. And so absolutely I recommend it. I'm extremely excited to have it. I'm also extremely excited to see where it continues to go. I think in the 2 years I've had it, this product has changed amazingly. And I think that there's probably a lot further for it to go, and I'm really excited to see where that takes us.
Well, thanks for taking the time, Jason. If you guys have questions about the ARMS platform, you'd like us to do a demo in person or remote online if you're somewhere else in the world, don't hesitate to reach out to us.